A lot of time people want to put fake experience on their resume, and I'm totally against it, and I tell a lot of people don't do it, but sometimes people do it and they get through it. But today what I want to talk about is some real fake experience. When I say real fake experience, what it means is, in reality you are employed with the company, but you are not doing the kind of work which you are claiming on your resume. And it is not that the individual generally wants to do it. Sometimes the ecosystem is such that you are forced to do it. For example, in case of freshers, when they join some big MNC where they are getting one training after another, and sometimes it goes on for so many months that actually they end up being on the bench, or they end up being in the training for more than a year. So when you have spent more than a year learning different set of technologies like Microsoft, Java, analytics, whatnot, you get trained on anything and everything under the sun, but you have zero real life project experience. All the experience that you have is on some dummy project or some project which you have done during your training. So this 1 year is counted as your total experience, but in reality you have not worked on anything. You have not worked on any client project, etc. So now what happens is, when companies get work, they project you as somebody who has 1+ years of experience in something. And I'm not saying that all companies do so, but there are a lot of companies that position your resume in such a way that you are shown as an individual who has 1 year or 2 years of experience in a certain technology, but in reality you have just got trained on it. You have never got exposed to the customer, and when you get exposed to the customer, you really have no idea of what to do. And sometimes they send some senior person to help you out. That senior person may be experienced in something else, may not be experienced in that thing, but because of their seniority and experience in general, they will be able to guide you through. But that time period is really tense or stressed out time period when you are required to show some experience or skill, but in reality you don't know anything. So this is one part which I wanted to talk about, which generally people try to avoid. And as you gain experience over a period of time, you also land in scenarios where you get onto the bench, where you are between projects. So between one project to another project, let's say there is a 15 days or 20 days of bench period, and again your CV needs to be positioned for a new customer. Now let's say if you have 3-4 years of experience, and if the requirement is on a technology on which you don't know anything, then again you are trained on it and your CV is positioned for that particular customer, for that particular technology. And sometimes the company actually pushes you for that interview, and if you're able to crack that interview, then again you have to go and perform for that particular client project on that technology of which you had no real idea in the last 3-4 months of time. So what happens, guys, over a period of time, the point I want to highlight is, if you get into these scenarios too many number of times, okay, if you get into these scenarios 1 or 2 times and get through it, it's fine. But if you run into these scenarios many times, then your experience in terms of different technology keeps on changing. So you kind of become a jack of all, master of none. And the real disadvantage of this is that people start to expect a lot from you, but in real you have done little things here and there, but overall your confidence level is really low. So in my mind, what one needs to do is, one needs to be very careful with respect to how your career graph is progressing over a period of time. What kind of work are you doing? For what kind of customers are you doing that kind of work? Is it technology oriented or business function oriented? Are you really becoming an expert in one particular thing, or maybe in 2 skill sets? Are you really becoming a specialist or an expert? That's what you need to focus on in the long run, because unless you really focus on your career graph, career progression, and the kind of skill sets you have built and the kind of confidence you have got from those skill sets, companies will always move you from one assignment to another. They will be eager on getting the billing assignments. They will be eager to push you or motivate you on different projects. So 1 or 2 times it may be fine, but in general, if you are really not confident, you will not be able to say no to them. You will have to say yes, because you yourself don't want to get into a situation where you will stay on pool or bench for a very long period. So people are scared of that, and that's why they kind of say yes and get into these kind of scenarios. So let me summarize by saying this: over a period of time, at least when you have gained 3 to 5 years of experience, until that time period, you should be very confident of what you are good at and what works for you and what is something that you really want to get into. If you have figured this out in the first 3 years or 5 years of your career, then the next 5 to 10 years of your career, you can take conscious decisions, bold decisions, where you can say no to certain things, where you can say yes to certain things with intent. And that is how you become a specialist, or that is how you become an expert expert in one or two things rather than becoming a jack of all and master of none. Alright, that's the message I wanted to pass in today's video. I hope you resonate with it. Do let me know your thoughts and comments. I'll see you in another video very soon, and do share this video in your WhatsApp network. Take care. Bye for now.